Hey guys, Foxdrop here. Hope you are having a wonderful evening. Today we're going to be talking about the announced reworks for some tank items coming into the mid-season patch for Season 7. So basically coming more or less relatively soon-ish. We're going to be jumping right into it today. There are some new items, some changed items, and starting right fresh off the press with the new items, the Gargoyles Plate and the Adaptive Helm. So I'm going to be showing you what the changes are, giving you my opinion on them, but I will also link them in the description below so you can just read it for yourself, because I won't be going to like loads of detail. I'll give you an idea of what it is, but won't cover literally everything. Won't be reading it word for word. So the first item, the Gargoyles Plate. It gives you armor, it gives you magic resist. If you're surrounded by 3 or more enemies, that armor and magic resist doubles from 40 to 80, and you have an active on it as well. If you use the active, you get extra health, but you lose a bunch of your damage done as well. And if you're surrounded by enemies, similar to the last thing we just mentioned, your increase in health gets even larger. So essentially, this is a tank item that's focused very much towards team fighting and not the lane phase, and very much towards, okay, I'm a tank, not a tank plus a incredible damage dealer as well, which is what League kind of has a problem with doing recently, or not recently, just since forever. Tanks do too much damage. This is certainly a tank item that isn't going to give you loads of damage. I quite like it. In theory, I think it's quite nice. Moving on to the second new item, the Adaptive Helm here. This is an anti-machine gun mage item. So it gives you 300 health, 70 magic resist, some health regeneration, 10% CDR, and a passive where if you take damage from a spell or effect, it will reduce future damage you take from the same spell or effect by 15% for 5 seconds. Essentially, if you're getting gunned down by the twin fangs of Cassiopeia, it won't do as much damage to you. It's a really interesting item. League has nothing like this currently in the game, hence why they're saying it's a niche item. Makes sense, because it's a niche item. And I'm not really too sure how to think about it. I don't really feel like machine gun mages are a pain in the ass to play against, because they just gun you down, and it's really painful. But at the same time, they kind of spike in the like mid to late game, not the pure late game. And then AD carries become a lot stronger because they have like higher range and stuff. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not necessarily sure if we need a way to kill the machine gun mages or to like be better against them. But I think it's a cool item in theory. I definitely like it in theory. Another really cool change here as well. We're moving on to the more experimental reworks here. Guardian Angels being reworked. This is really interesting here. I don't like this change whatsoever. I think this change is absolutely horseshite, if I can say that. Excuse my French. It's not great. So it gives you AD and armor now instead of armor, and magic resist with pretty much the same passive. The reason why I don't like this is because they're intending to move this away from tanks onto squishies, people who need the revive and need to be protected more. What's actually going to happen is this is going to be an item that's really good for people like Renekton, people like Kled, these bruisers who already get AD plus tank items like Titanic Hydra and Black Cleaver. They'll just stick this one in their build as well, and it's just going to be really hard to play against them. Really disgusting. So I don't like it. I don't think it's cool whatsoever. I hope they don't implement that change. And last things we want to talk about here, Banshee's Veil and Abyssal Scepter are being reworked too. They're kind of getting a bit of a swap here. So Banshee's Veil is getting the AP, the magic resist, and the CDR from Abyssal, but keeping the shield. And the Abyssal is getting the tank stats from Banshees, but keeping the Abyssal aura. Might sound confusing. Confuses me already. But essentially, Banshee's Veil, like I say, AP, Magic Resist, CDR, and gives you this the Banshee shield. I'm not really sure I like that. I think, everyone can use those stats, and it's such a good passive as well, the spell shield, that pretty much everyone will be using it in the lane phase. Not sure I like that. It makes them really safe for ganks, really safe in these mid-game fights as well. You could easily get this second item after Morello's, even if you don't want to rush it. And yeah, I'm not sure. It really depends on the cooldown of the spell shield, I guess. But I'm not really a fan of that one. But I do quite like, honestly, the tank item with the Abyssal Scepter aura on it. I think that's quite nice. Although having said that, Riot has not liked aura items in the past. Tank items with auras historically have been very hard for Riot to balance, to the extent where they've actually removed most of them from the game. Locket got removed, Aegis got removed ages ago, Soul Shroud, if you can even think back that far, if you've been playing that far back, shout outs to you if you remember that one. That got removed too for similar reasons. So difficult one, but I think it's quite cool. Now there's some more changes here. Doran's Shield, Sunfire Cape, Dead Man's Plate, Randuin's, Warmog's, Spirit Visage, A long story short for most of those is that they're moving some of the health out of the items and putting it onto the like the resistances. And also randoms is getting a really interesting change here, which I think is really cool. You should definitely go check this out. I'm not going to talk about it here because I'm going to be talking for way too long already. But basically, the attack speed is getting greater, the cost is coming down, and the crit is getting removed as well. I think though that it's overall it's going to be really cool to see. I quite like that change there. Anyway, we're going to be piecing out now, boys and girls. Let me know what you think about it down below, what you think about the changes. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to me if you want to see more League of Legends content, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it as well. So thanks a lot for watching the video, guys. Have a wonderful, amazing evening, and I will see you in my next